Playtime is ended.
I'll take care of this one myself.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in with us for another episode of the Retro Achievements Podcast, where we cover a variety of genres, topics, and discuss the bits and bytes of yesteryear. By the very nature of this community, competition tends to be at the forefront. Whether you take gaming seriously or approach it with a casual indifference-seeking enjoyment, at the end of the day, we all find ourselves ranked either high or low amongst our peers. The higher you climb, the more prolific and defining that aforementioned rank denotes. With daily callouts and gauntlets being thrown down across the board from Discord to the forums, even directly on users' walls, the bounty on your position ever grows the more clout you accrue. Back in February, the crown was placed on a new head. The challenger who rose and seized the throne. But how long will he reign? As they used to say, kill the king is dead, long live the king. For exactly that reason, I have our returning guest here tonight, Sarconious, to dig in on their journey to the top, how life has been treating them since our last episode together, and otherwise have a good time. Sark, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Yourself?
Hey, man, I couldn't be better. Things have been really busy over here, but I'm sure they've been busy for you as well. Good Lord, you just captured that top spot not too long ago. I suppose we'll just kind of jump right into it. Last we had you on, it was kind of a fan recommendation thing half the time, a little bit what you felt playing to unwind the other half of the time. Kind of leaned into talking about pinball a little bit. I know that's a little bit of a category you're known for, but what's life been treating you like since, we've had you on? It's almost a year to the day that we've had you on.
Oh, I mean, not a whole lot, really. Just kind of staying the course, just still going hard on RA, still doing requests for the stream, Same old, really.
You say same old, yet here you are wearing the crown sitting on the throne. I know it was something, you have a good relationship with Max. I've obviously had him on a couple times, and, good guy, and you guys have, I'd say, a healthy attitude towards this thing. Nobody's really pissed off at the other one. That does exist otherwise in leaderboards in some places, but you two seem to be happy to trade blows with a smile on your face. Did they reach out to you, or did they have any comments on it? Did you think about them as you overtook it? How did that happen when the moment actually came?
Oh, I mean, I went on, I'm sure, you've been on the FBG podcast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I went on there pretty much like right afterwards, and we were cutting it up. So, I mean, it's more of a friendly competition than anything. I don't think there's any, hard feelings.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there is at all, but I kind of want to know if you even realized the game you were playing when it happened, maybe the achievement that made it cross over the threshold, or did it just show up to you? What were you feeling or thinking when that happened?
Oh, so I actually had this planned a while ago. It just kind of worked out well. So years ago, people were telling me, it's like, when are you going to do, Color a Dinosaur? Because, it's notoriously one of, the babiest sets on there. I said, the only way I will ever do Color a Dinosaur if it's to take number 1 on RA. So I was getting close to, finishing up. I think it was the Hulk on, Incredible Hulk on PS2. And it just so happened that just as I beat the game, I was, I think, about probably less than 10 points away. If not, then a little more than 10 points. I look and I'm like, all right, I guess now's the time to do it.
I have to color some dinosaurs.
Yeah, I got to color some dinosaurs. And it just worked out that way. It was great.
That's fantastic. Well, shout out to the Triceratops who made this possible. And props to Fat, Black, and Greasy. A great bunch of guys. They had me on there, and fun experience. If you get the chance, definitely stop over, take a listen. But it's one of those things, I think a lot of people knew this was coming. You kind of put the foot on the gas a little bit, and maybe it doesn't feel like it. You've always had a very, I don't want to say lackadaisical, but a very jovial and kicked back attitude towards this whole thing. Sure, you get frustrated by some achievements, who the hell doesn't? But you've never really been, in my experience in watching your streams and talking to you previously, somebody who is super fucking hungry to try and chase this damn thing down. How does that combine with taking number 1? I mean, how does someone leisurely just walk up and go, I'm the best? It's a little bit conflicting from the outside perspective. How does it feel to walk into that position, but also carry yourself with a, hey, it happens, it happens?
The thing about RA is I always like challenging myself with, hard games, hard achievements, that kind of thing. Like, I was never really that much of a rank chaser. I just kind of played what I liked. I mean, maybe not so much with requests, but that's
Sure.
besides the point. But I mean, it's just, I've been consistent for the most part since 2018. Like, I think I took like maybe a few breaks here or there for old school RuneScape, but other than that, yeah, I mean, it's just been kind of my main hobby, and it just kind of ended up this way.
I'm sure internally it's not that big a deal, but from an outside third party perspective, it's kind of astounding. It'd be like Michael Phelps just going like, I don't know, I'm a good swimmer. I swim well. So, I mean, either way, it's a fun attitude to have. And something I kind of wanted to dig on as well, all these games you played throughout the years here, like you said, you've been active since 2018. And after getting both the fan requests and, you know, people suggesting what you want to play and choosing the games that you are actually seeking out, there surely have to be a handful of games or sets or, you know, otherwise a niche genre or something that sticks out to you where you're like, you know what, after all these points, this game, this is a damn good time. Or, you know, this one, oh my God, I shouldn't have spent this long on it. This is an awful time. Is there anything sticking out to you in your memory that says, hey, maybe listeners should play this or otherwise have a good time with it?
Oh man, I mean, if I started writing down games, like I'd probably have at least like several hundred recommendations. Like, it's I don't know, for me, like I'm really big on variety. I don't like sticking to one game for too long. Like once I badge a game, it's just like I don't want to see this again for like years, maybe.
For sure. I suppose I'll rephrase that then. Have there been any games that were both fun and easy to badge that you thought, you know what, this was a good use of my time?
Oh yeah, there's been plenty. I mean, there's one that I always recommend people that's I just find hilarious. It's called Yume Penguin Monogatari. It was a Famicom only game, and it's like a cute little penguin platformer, except the penguin's being fat shamed by his girlfriend.
Okay, you can't just drop that one line and have me move on. Talk to me about this game.
So basically, the penguin's overweight, and his girlfriend's like, "You're too fat. You need to lose weight, or I'm gonna leave you for this other guy." And
the whole game is just about you getting jacked?
Yeah, you basically have to avoid. So the enemies are basically trying to feed you. So you have to avoid the food that they're throwing at you and grab these little like slimming shakes or whatever.
Oh God! So it's a penguin commercial for Slim Fast.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, it's like a cute little Konami platformer. It's pretty fun, and you know the set's actually very approachable for like even new players, I'd say.
I think that's a big part of, you know, a solid answer to that question is a lot of the times accessibility or approachability for the first time RA might be a little bit of a shock. You know, let's say you were signing up today and you like retro games, and what are the handful of titles you're going to search? It's going to be like Super Metroid, Super Mario World, those kind of things. And you're going to drop in there, see some Damageless and Deathless, and it might frighten you off from the community. And it's a little bit funny to think that, like, no, you should start on the fat shaming penguin game. That's a lot more, you know. How about on the opposite end of that spectrum, though? What about some ones that you were really just, holy shit, either the points weren't worth it or it was asking me way too much? What about on that side?
Oh man. I mean, there's one I can't even blame the set for. It's just there's particular game modes that are just insane. Dynamite Cop on the Dreamcast.
Not familiar.
So it's like kind of a very arcadey beat 'em up kind of game, like a 3D beat 'em up.
Streets of Rage.
Like the game is incredibly comical. Like I'd be happy to play it again. It's just hilarious to play. There's a couple modes in there that, like, I can't believe they're actual game modes because they are just that difficult to get through.
Oh no. What are we talking?
So there's a survival mode where you essentially get 1 bar health, very little healing, and the first one's only like 30 enemies, which is, you know, whatever. The second one is 60, which starts to get a little crazy. And then the third one, not only is it 100, but you also have to take into account you're fighting some bosses in that.
Right.
And at the end, it's 2 of the final boss of the game at the same time.
Oh.
And you're in a small little kitchen.
Oh.
So
where all great combat happens.
Oh, yeah. So you have to, like, not get stuck on like countertops and everything while you're trying to fight, two of the most obnoxious boss in the game. You essentially need to save as much of your guns and ammunition, just leave it on the ground while you're fighting all the other enemies, so that you have enough to even stand a chance of getting to the end.
Wow. So it's not, like you said, it's not even the set that's the issue. The game is asking a hell of a lot of you.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, nobody picked that. It's thankfully not a lot of Dreamcast households back in the day. Not a lot of people probably going to play.
But I mean, I like the game enough that I pushed myself to do it because I enjoyed the game that much. Otherwise, I would have dropped it.
Does it have that same kind of, from how you're describing it, and I mean, one screenshot could change my perspective completely, but how you're describing it, it feels like it almost has that zany nature, not in the same genre of Katamari Damacy, but that still off-the-wall weird shit is happening all the time. Is that accurate?
Kind of, yeah. It's more like there's in-game cutscenes that are, like, it's like so bad it's good kind of thing.
All right. Maybe this is worth checking out. If you don't care about masteries and you just want to have a good experience, go ahead and check that out. Well, I mean, since I had you on last year, man, a lot of things have changed. Wes has been cranking at the back end, just really pumping out a lot of development updates, a lot of changes. You got Jamiris up there making it a little bit harder for people to cheat using outdated legacy versions. Something I kind of wanted to dig in on with you. Like, there's a lot of people that get either, not going to name names, but either banned or untracked. These ultimately are going to affect the leaderboard. It's going to change how things are approached. Does that ever really hop on your radar, or do you have any thoughts to that? It's one of those kind of shush things in the community, but nobody can ignore that it's happening. People that are cheating, people that are getting untracked, people that have the leaderboard's adjustment due to that. Do you ever give that any thought?
I mean, I've taken notice of when people are climbing like suspiciously fast. Like, I definitely take a note of it. I mean, but what I still don't understand is, like, this is a free site. I'm not making money for being number one. I mean, obviously I'm streaming and making money, but I mean, that's like a different thing.
That's your own venture. Yeah.
I just never understood the purpose of, like, cheating on this website. It's just like some internet clout, maybe. But I mean, if no one's seeing you beat the games, like, what does it even matter? I don't know.
No, and I'm kind of right there with you. You just gave the RA equivalent to the old cone. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound?
Yeah, exactly.
And we have it happen, I'd say, at least a couple times a week.
Oh, I'm sure.
And every now and then it's a very prominent figure near the top. But I'm going to second that sentiment. You aren't really accomplishing anything by cheating. And, like, okay, so you get some pats on the back from people in a Discord community or on a forum post, but, like, at the end of the day, are you going to feel good about it? It's not real, man. And also, nobody cares. Like, it's not, I'm not insulting you, Sark. I'm not having you on here to be like, nobody gives a shit. But, like, it's one of those things where, like, I'm glad you don't take it too seriously. Yeah. If you tried to ride this as a horse of defining characteristic, you're almost setting yourself up for failure. Holy shit, if your entire personality hinges on RA, buddy, you gotta sort some shit out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of my main hobbies, but at the end of the day, it's fake internet points. Like, whatever, man.
It's a fun time. As soon as you're not having fun, you're kind of fucking up.
Yeah.
But we got a lot more to dive in on, guys. We've had Sark on before. We want to kind of get his perspective on the state of RA. I've got some more questions. I want to talk about social presence, kind of what it means to make a name for yourself, game recommendations, and a little bit more. But we will do that after we get back right into retroachievementspodcast@gmail.com with listener mail. You got a chance to be read out on air. We will be back soon.
You want to play? Let's play.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Retro Achievements Podcast. We were just going over a little bit of experience that Sark had as he climbed to the top. Leading right into it, not going to waste any time. You have developed a name for yourself, man. You've got a bit of a social presence. You've got some clout. Obviously, you're a streamer over there on Twitch, so it's going to be something that you're kind of tackling from two fronts. What does it look like for, let's say, newcomers who every young person is kind of chasing that dream? I think we're from a similar generation. You chose that path. I chose podcasting, I guess. But younger people, you hear it in school all the time. They're sort of asked a question of what do you want to be when you grow up? And YouTube influencer seems to be a very highly prolific answers. And knowing the audience that we have at RA sometimes overlaps with younger folk. Say somebody is new to the scene. Say somebody's fresh on their face, just figured out how to emulate some things, wants to get in here, has that hunger, has that fire. How do you make a name for yourself? How do you start developing that circle? How do you start developing that presence?
I mean, I'm still asking myself that same question.
No shit.
I mean, like I said, I'm not exactly like that big of a streamer. Yeah, I got partner like last year, but I mean, that's still like kind of bare minimum.
I mean,
like I'd say at this point, it's not really something I can make a living on yet.
Oh, of course.
I'm hoping to get there eventually, but
I mean, I suppose I might be over-exaggerating that question. Say a 16-year-old, 18-year-old, somebody young, maybe hasn't got their first job yet. If they get a $20 paycheck, they're going to lose their goddamn mind. Like from playing video games or otherwise streaming.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm in my 30s, and I just got paid for a voice acting gig. That it was barely enough to cover 2 lunches, and I was like, oh my fucking God, I better tell my mom.
Hey, that's still awesome, dude.
That's what I'm saying, though. So I was just trying to pick your brain a little bit. Like, you've already beaten the path. Do you have any tips to help those beat their own?
I mean, I would say one is find your niche. Like, what game or like genre or type of games would you be happy with playing for years at a time? And then after that, I would say stick to a schedule. Like, be consistent with your streaming.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And I mean, just make sure you're having a good time.
Do you think people can tell when you're just doing it and find it more as a job rather than enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I think it's pretty noticeable.
Really?
But I mean, I've also been on the platform for I think about 9 years now. So maybe I just notice it more.
I mean, I remember you mentioning that when I had you on the first time, and knowing when Twitch started, that is a considerable amount of time investment. Even though, like you said yourself, you aren't the largest streamer, you've had enough experience in the game to take notice of those patterns, or otherwise, as you just said, learn to kind of recognize the signs and patterns. That's exactly what I'm looking for, though, when I ask these questions. When people are trying to just start out, they are going to have to take years to develop that recognition. So having the insight to say, hey, yeah, it's pretty fucking obvious when you aren't having fun. It might not be obvious to that newcomer. So, take note.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to dive in on here, like I said, Wes has been changed a lot. Jamiris has been changed a lot. How do you feel about RA now compared to maybe when you first joined or when things were progressing a little bit slowly? We've got a ton of changes, pretty much monthly, maybe bi-monthly, but things are moving fast now. What's your perspective on that?
I mean, I've been enjoying the changes. Like I said, the website looks a lot cleaner than what it used to. You got like we mentioned before, the anti-cheating team has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
So that's definitely been a huge plus. Because, I mean, like I said, if cheaters run rampant, who's going to take the site seriously?
Exactly. I think that's one of the things that sort of devalues a good portion of Steam achievements. Everybody knows there's some sort of add-on out there that you can just toggle and unlock all your achievements. So when you get that little shiny gold border, sure, it might feel good, but there's a tinge of disappointment that's not quite an accurate number all the time.
Yeah, exactly. No, but they've also kind of streamlined the events, which has kind of gotten me more into dabbling into it. I usually didn't do events outside of the new system launches, but now that they've changed it so that you can essentially like get the achievement that you need for the achievement of the week, achievement of the month, and just reset the set if you don't really want to play the game anymore and still have that tracked, that's definitely been, a big plus, I think.
I would agree.
And I mean, a lot of people in my kind of closer community have kind of gotten into it as well because of that.
No, I would definitely second that. One of the big points of contrition around this community is folks who care about mastery percentage and folks who couldn't care less. I'm in the latter camp, but I can definitely sympathize and understand former. It's a place where it's literally called retro achievements. So you're not going to want to start something without being able to complete. I get that mentality. So adding that little quality of life update, adding that feature so you can still experience some of the, let's call it extracurricular activities that exist within this community is a huge step forward. I believe they're still talking about developing even further automated processes, trying to make other events accessible in similar natures.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the things right now hinge on recording your own progress, making forum posts, having somebody authorize and check in, authenticate that forum post, et cetera, et cetera. And if there's any way to automate that, just think of the traffic people would have. Everybody is in this community to earn point, get shiny badge. And if you can make that easier to do with an event, holy shit, you're going to see the activity explode.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, thoughts on events moving forward? Are there any that you've had a good time with in particular? I mean, nearly everybody does Achievement of the Week or Achievement of the Month. What are some of these events you're starting to participate in that you otherwise wouldn't?
I mean, that's really the main one I've been doing.
Those are the two.
I try not to like overwhelm myself with events. I see some of my other friends are doing the RA roulette and everything, and it's like I said, like I already have enough people telling me what games to play. Like
Sure,
I don't need any more.
I mean, kind of jumping into the now. What are some of these games? I noticed you were playing Sly the other day. You're trying to master that. Getting a couple things out of the way on that front. But have you noticed a trend from your viewers? Have you noticed a trend from the community? What are people asking you to play these days?
Oh, I mean, I've got a full list. I can list off. I don't know if there's really that big of a trend. It's kind of, just people want to see specific games. Like, I don't think they're really pushing towards like one thing. I mean, I always like getting more platformers because that's kind of my main genre. But I'm cool with trying out most genres.
Shit, you're not going to take number one if you're not cool with that. But I was just kind of interested to see if there was a trend. I thought for sure, having a community for that long, though it isn't the largest, I thought maybe they might have a taste, they might have a flavor. Perhaps they like platformers like you. But you're not sensing anything in that department. It's just, do individuals seem to strike out with the game that they particularly have a fondness for? Is that the case then?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the case.
Speaking of platformers, there's I'm going to take it to a modern in terms of RA concerns. There's a small platformer collectathon called POI, P-O-I. Released a handful of years ago. It's on Steam. Small good time. Do you care about any achievement systems off of RA? And if so, which ones? And those two statements might seem completely disconnected, but I assure you I'm going somewhere.
I don't do too much achievement chasing outside of RA, but if I like a game on Steam or something, and I'll usually just go for the achievements. I mean, most of the time it's really just like 100% the game and you got it. I mean, every once in a while there'll be like, some crazy challenges on them, like Super Meat Boy. I don't think I'll ever get all the Steam achievements because it's
Jesus.
Yeah, go through the entirety of this world without a single death.
No, there's definitely a lot of games on there that ask a lot of you, but likewise, I would jump on what you said first, where Steam usually is just 100% of the game.
Yeah.
And the whole reason I started this, Poi is exactly that. It's just a kind of a Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64 type casual jump around, grab things. That game, if it was on RA, would surely go from being a fun, jovial time to an absolute ball-busting torture experience. Are there any games or sets that stick out to you where you feel similar, where it's like, yeah, on the surface, I think the developers intended this to be a relaxing, fun experience, but now when I'm actually playing it with the RA set, this family-friendly, whatever, fill-in-the-blank game has turned into an ordeal on Dante's Circles from Hell.
I mean, I could compile a list for you.
I want that list, but yeah, is anything sticking out?
Oh, man. The first one that's coming to mind is probably Jackal on NES.
So, as somebody inexperienced with that game, and otherwise I would expect the community at large to not be super familiar, give us a brief rundown of the game before the set.
All right, so it's pretty much like a run and gun game.
Contra?
It's another Konami one.
Okay.
No, you're actually riding around in like a Jeep, and you can shoot like a machine gun, throw grenades out of it.
Okay.
You can upgrade the grenades to like missiles and everything. I mean, the game's pretty challenging on its own.
I mean, it sounds like it was from the era of arcade quarter eaters.
I mean, I don't think it's really like arcade. It's more along the difficulty of like Contra.
Okay.
Like once you know what you're doing, it's not that bad to get through.
Figure out some patterns.
Yeah. But then, add in the achievements and it's just like, just beat each level without ever pressing down.
What the?
Yeah.
Why? So I'm guessing that's half the
just-
way that you dodge the bullets is pressing duck.
So, I mean, there's some of the levels you have to very carefully route it out. Like, I know on the final level, you can just lock yourself out of even being able to complete it if you go up in a certain spot, because you have to go back down to get out.
So it like soft locks?
Yeah, and see, normally I would be fine with that kind of achievement, but the problem is a game like that doesn't have level select. So you're getting to the final level of the game, you have one chance.
No.
Well, technically, I think 3 chances with continues, but
if you get there with all your continues. But
yeah.
No, see, sometimes I think, and you have a lot more experience than I do with it, so correct me if I'm wrong. But sometimes I feel like RA set developers grab a game, maybe they enjoy it, maybe it's a game they used to play, maybe they're completely inexperienced with it, but they take inspiration from other RA set developers and they go, well, this game had XYZ, therefore my game should have XYZ because that's the standard. And without applying the game's logic and coupling it with your set design, you're going to encounter things like that. You don't want to have a single hard-to-get achievement at the final boss without a goddamn stage select. What do you think would discourage that trend, or what do you think would help people understand how to just... I know you're not a developer, but how do we reach a nice, healthy middle point of good time and good challenge?
I mean, the best I can say is, have set testers or something to be able to say like you need to be able to make achievements within the limitations of the game, I feel.
Right.
And obviously I know you have to use softcore to kind of test achievements and everything. Well, just to be able to get back there quickly and everything. But I also feel like, you should be at least trying, I'm not expecting set developers to get their own achievements.
No.
But at least attempt them to see, all right, how much time is going into just being able to get to attempt the achievement.
Right.
And if that seems too long, then, maybe not have that in there or change it so it's not nearly as painful. That's the main thing.
I couldn't agree more. I've seen a lot of people use, say world record times and then shave X amount of time off.
Mm-hmm.
But good Lord, that's a world record. I've seen other people say, yeah, I tested it, but I also used Memory Inspector to give myself full health and full ammo. It's like, what the... Then you didn't test it, dude. You need a high data sample size. Be that accessing the playtester team and having us take up the mantle, or really just digging in and doing the work yourself. That's always allowed. I just think we see a lot of good games, a lot of good series kind of get, for lack of a better word, bastardized into being an experience they weren't meant to be.
Yeah.
I using this purely as an example, I do not know who developed this game, and I do not know the set for it. But I'm saying it would be like if you took Animal Crossing, a game made for pure leisure where you kick back and relax, and tried to put in time trials and speedrun strategies and all this other junk that eliminated the core essence of the game. You're kicking back and relaxing and paying off a raccoon embezzlement scheme. You don't need to fret about much else,
Yeah, and I mean, even if you want something like that, that's a great idea.
Oh,
for subsets.
Hell yeah!
For the people that want that.
In that same vein of things, just to play devil's advocate, we've seen some fantastic world records subsets, glitch subsets, hack subsets, things that absolutely break the game's spine, Bane a la Batman, to allow that same experience people are looking for.
Yeah. So that way, it feels like you're not ruining the main set of the game, but for people that want that additional challenge, there you go.
Exactly. Something I kind of just tangentially stumbled into here with you, would like to get your perspective on. Hacks and otherwise subsets. As far as I can tell, you're not super involved in a lot of that scene, right?
I did hacks for a while, but honestly, I don't get requests for hacks that often.
Okay, so
I mean, I've got I think maybe 1 or 2 in the queue at this point. So,
okay, so that's mainly steered by request's sake. What I wanted to kind of ask is, as somebody who is number one on the site, I ran the numbers, albeit admittedly 8 months ago, so the data could be a little outdated. But if somebody was to master every single Super Mario World game and hack subset, and every single rhythm game and hack and subset, they would dwarf your number one spot in an instant. Thoughts?
oh, I believe it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure you were aware of that, but I just kind of wanted to dig in on do you have any concerns or thoughts or it's not a red flag in my book, but it definitely is a yellow flag. It makes me look at it. It makes me question, how much is too much. I don't want to yuck on anybody's yum. Obviously there are people here who are not playing Mario to get number one. They're playing it because they fucking love the game, and, more power to you. But it's just, I get a little bit of hesitation when I see that much incoming flux of points based around these one game and one genre. And I wanted to get your perspective on it.
I mean, I think most of the Mario World hacks are pretty fairly scored for what they are. If that's what you're into, if you just like Mario World hacks, like I understand, people just like in one game type, and they just want more of that or more challenging versions of that.
Sure.
I don't really have anything against it.
I'm not faulting it either. I'm just talking on the sense of how many points you were able to accrue, how far you were able to climb just based on Mario World and rhythm games alone. You could seize number one. You could seize the top 10.
Yeah, but you also got to figure a lot of the Mario World hacks are like
Kaizo.
Crazy difficult Kaizo hacks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
I'm not saying
honestly,
you're completing them in an afternoon. Dear God. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, if it was completely just free points, then sure, yeah, I'd have an issue with it. But, I don't think that's the case. Rhythm games, I really haven't dived that much into, honestly. But, as much as I like them, there's also, any sort of input delay bugs the crap out of me. I play Stepmania, which is essentially DDR for computer. I can set it up so that it accounts for any input delay, so I don't have to worry about it. But
hold on now. Stepmania.
Yeah.
Is that the one that's been around since shit? I feel like I was in high school, like 2007, 2008.
Oh yeah, no, it's been around since like right after DDR came out, pretty much.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Sorry. Episode topic just changed. Stepmania. Talk to me, brother. Okay. I've been playing that off and on for several years. I've never been like one of the savants at it, but compared to RA, when did you get involved in that?
Oh, I got into DDR back in 2004.
Were you one of the people that would play at the arcade and absolutely stand everybody else up?
I wasn't like that crazy with it because, I didn't like using the bar or anything.
Yeah.
But, I could generally do most like 9-step difficulties.
Holy shit. In the actual arcade?
Yeah.
Oh, my man. Okay. So you are showing people up. You just aren't grabbing the back bar and like floating on your hips. Either way, I never had the confidence to really get up there and do it. I probably fed that game $10 over the course of my years as a child. Nowadays, I'd get up there and I don't care if I'm doing the fucking Cabbage Patch and I'm having fun. But back then, I just couldn't do it. But Stepmania came around. And that ended up being just like RA is today. I don't take it too seriously, but it was a fun way to just kind of compare myself generally against leaderboards. This is a perfect segue. You're literally working on other leaderboards and not taking them too seriously, I imagine. And then you came to RA. What was your ranking at Stepmania? How were you doing there? Did you take it seriously, or was it a very appropriate approach that you are likewise here?
Oh, I wasn't going like competitive or anything. It was pretty much my exercise.
Right on. Oh my God, man. That's a great time. Sorry, I'm a little taken back. That's just a good blast of nostalgia for myself.
Yeah.
You know what? I should fire up Stepmania.
It's definitely something I got to start doing a little more regularly. Like, I've had people ask me, like, when are you going to do DDR streams again? I'm like, all right, got to get more active.
Yeah, fuck DDR. Introduce this new generation to the mania. So, kind of leaning on that topic as well, new generation and all that. Your viewer base, has it been consistent? Has it changed over the years? Where do you think it lines in like the age skew? Do you appeal to younger folks? Do you appeal to older folks? What is the general audience consistent makeup, do you?
I think I'd say probably mostly people in their like 30s and 40s. I mean, that's a lot of retro, I feel like.
For sure.
But I mean, I definitely do have some younger viewers for sure. But yeah, I don't think retro is really going to bring in that many younger people.
No, I would agree with you. I think we've probably got about 15% younger folk here.
Not to mention, I use a webcam, so you're going to see, old man streaming. It's just like, yeah, get out of here, old man.
Come here, kids.
You're not going to see me playing Minecraft or anything.
Right. When's he starting Fortnite? Oh, God. Please don't play Fortnite. Sorry.
Played it for 2 hours, and I'm like, I'm good.
So, kind of as modern as we're going to get, that perfectly touches on my next question. We recently introduced Terraria as a standalone, and that's the most modern offering, I believe, we have offered. Have you tried it out? Or if you haven't, what are your thoughts on, moving occasionally to this new offering?
I mean, at first, it was a little weird to me. It's just like, why do we have retro achievements for a game that's literally still being updated? But, I mean, I thought about it. It's just like, I guess the game is kind of old enough that it's fine. I've played Terraria in the past with friends, and I think that's probably the main thing that's like I'm still kind of iffy about playing it, is that if you want hardcore achievements, you can't play with friends. So I'm still on the fence on if I want to do it or not. I might in my own time, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, as somebody who's never actually completed the base game, and also likewise has never played with friends, always done it solo, I look at it as a good excuse for finally finishing it. I'm not looking to play that game with friends. I'm not looking to play a multiplayer, and I think it has a lot to offer, but I completely understand your sentiment of saying, like, this damn thing is still getting developer updates. Like, is it really retro? We might be entering a kind of new phase with these whole standalone introduction. We had the Horizon server with Final Fantasy XI. We got Terraria. We could have more on the menu coming up. I mean, hell, as somebody who earlier in this episode just said they love some old school RuneScape, having a server introduced for RA, I'm sure that thing would be crashing every goddamn day just due to the traffic.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. If your main audience is 30 to 40-year-olds, every motherfucker there that grew up with RS, we're going to be on that thing mining fish until the end of time. And I suppose knowing that our last introduction was Terraria, and it might be a little modern, but still enjoyable to a lot of the community. What are some games beyond RS that you would like to perhaps entertain the idea of incorporating?
I mean, I wouldn't say no to Dark Souls.
Okay. You just took modern and we were like, but let's make it more modern. Not that it's getting updated anymore, but shit. Okay, let's just entertain that idea for a second. What does an RA Dark Souls set look like?
That's
Soul level 1?
I mean, that could always be a subset. Could always have damageless bosses.
That's not core? Oh, damageless bosses makes me want to fucking cut my throat. Okay.
But you'd have to have a level limit for that. Otherwise, you'd be one-shotting bosses too easily.
No Estus?
Could do no Estus.
All right, I hate this whole... Oh, God. I take everything back we said. All right. How about a retro game that you think would work well as a standalone? Retro in your perspective.
And I'm trying to think, it's like a retro game that would be standalone. Well, I mean, there's always Space Cadet Pinball.
Holy shit. Okay, fucking slam dunk suggestion. I wasn't even anywhere close to that line of thinking, but I would okay, there was a period in my childhood where we had internet, dial-up, as was the style at the time, and we, for whatever reason, had to cancel it. I then relied on my friend, a couple streets over, to give me all the game facts cheats I needed and walkthroughs, and otherwise internet research. But what I would do at home is, I don't care. You make a goddamn achievement set for this game, I'll master it today. I played so much fucking Space Cadet Pinball. This thing was a staple. I feel like at times there were points where the sound effects were playing in my sleep. But neither here nor there. I think that'd be a fantastic addition. That almost kind of couples with the rumor mill that DOS is coming. Less of a rumor mill, more of just a well-known, hey, give it time. What are your opinions on that?
I mean, I'll be honest, DOS, I really didn't grow up with pretty much any DOS game, so, I mean, I might dabble in there and probably do the launch event or something for it, but I don't know, like, not really anything I'd say I'm looking forward to.
Really?
Yeah.
What I'm most excited for is not specifically a DOS game, but I think this paves the pathway for actual Doom and Doom WADs using a mouse and keyboard on RA.
That would definitely be a bit better for me. Like, I do like first-person shooters, but generally only with keyboard and mouse. Like, with controller, it just feels so awkward to me.
I can't agree more. Using a fucking analog, I cannot. It feels so sluggish. I'm not aiming where I want to aim. But kind of bouncing back to the question I asked you about Legacy Introduction or Standalone. Something I think that would be an obvious choice and something embraced by a lot of players at RA, and likewise something that could have a set extremely well developed for. EverQuest. EverQuest 2, perhaps. Have you had any experience?
That's one of the few I've really not dabbled in. I was a RuneScape, World of Warcraft player back in the day, and MapleStory.
I was the first two and EverQuest, a game that no longer exists, nobody remembers, called Shadowbane. Shout out, homie, I miss you. Anyway, so the very essence of that game was struggle and earn everything that you will ever have. You die with something on you, goodbye. You aren't in the right place at the right time to farm this mob, too bad. You didn't interact with this exact portion of the crafting material, get fucked. And the very nature of that game design, I think, resonates with the majority of set developers at RA, where they're all possible, I said the majority, they're all possible, but they're going to ask a lot of you to accomplish. That is something that I think would be well received. And as somebody inexperienced with the game, say we introduce something like that. It's an isometric, almost looks like Diablo. Is that something you think you would dabble in?
Maybe at some point. Like, I mean, I'm still on the fence about, trying out Final Fantasy 11. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
No worries. I mean, in all honesty, Final Fantasy 11 didn't hook me just because I guess time has passed too much and I have gotten too soft. Quality of life features that were introduced in MMOs years and years past are obviously not present in Final Fantasy XI, and it makes you, holy shit, go through so many menus and click to interact on goddamn near everything. Not for me.
I'll be perfectly honest, like, MMOs can be kind of dangerous for me.
What do you mean? In
that I get way too overly obsessed with them. I put way too much time into them.
Oh.
I mean, that's why I was, like, completely removed from, like, RA for, like, 6 months at a time when I was doing RuneScape, because, I was putting all my time into that. Outside of streaming, obviously.
I've seen that in similar places. My cousin, actually. World of Warcraft, I'd say circa Wrath of the Lich King, had an absolute... He played it for fun for a lot of the time, but then there was a period where he played it purely to manipulate the auction house. He had a cornerstone on all of the silk and crafting materials for tailoring, and a corner on the pet trading market. And it got to the point where somebody I used to be able to access and say, hey, Ben, let's hop on and play XYZ. Be like, no, I've got this QRS auction ending here, and I have doing this XYZ. I'm going to invest in this. Da, da, da. He became a day stock trader in a stock market that doesn't exist. So I definitely can, empathize and understand how that's a very easy void to fall into. I suppose I gotta ask, though, what was mainly taking up your time in RS where you said 6 months, I gotta dive in?
Well, for me, I mean, can't tell by my RA profile, I have a very completionist mentality. It's just like, I like to try and do everything that I possibly can. So, usually in MMOs, it's just like, I want to try and collect everything, which can be dangerous when, some things alone can take weeks or months to even, have a chance of getting.
Right.
Like, I mean, back in the WoW days, I'd sit in one spot for like a solid week trying to get like a rare mount, stuff like that.
See, I think nobody's going to know this, but I have to talk about it. That's why I think a game like Shadowbane would be extremely, extremely dangerous to you. You would have mobs that would spawn once every 14 days in one specific region of the map. And if you didn't control that territory and have a guild there to seize that mob for a small chance of collecting the drop, of which would die and be deleted if you died. Right, exactly. See, that laugh alone tells me, holy shit, not only would I be there, but I would hate myself. And that's exactly what I was doing. I just think there's a lot of meat on the bone for bringing standalones to RA, especially in the form of MMOs or, let's say, with Terraria, traditionally multiplayer games. But we could be opening Pandora's box. We could be entering a era that says, this is all you should play. This is all you have to play. We're now not retro achievements. We're retro RuneScape. We're retro EverQuest. We're retro fill in the blank. Does that give you any concern or thoughts?
I mean,
speak openly.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I just don't think if I'd want to take part in it. Like I said, maybe dabble here and there. I don't know if I'd really want to try and go whole hog on it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something, like I said, I think will suck in a huge chunk of the community. Hey, we'll cross that bridge if and when we get there. That being said, guys, we're wrapping into our last little chunk of the episode. We'll be back soon. One more time, retroachievementspodcast@gmail.com for all that listener mail. But we will be back in a second.
Apparently, I'm going to have to fight seriously for the first time in a while. Cut the grill! I'm back!
All right, everybody, welcome back. Got Sark here for the last little tale of the episode. I covered a wide variety of topics. How his journey to the top was a little complicated, but ultimately succeeded without too much worry. Some games that were fun, some games that were hard, but beyond that, we got a little bit more to go. The first time I had Sark on, one of the main topics was pinball. He's kind of known in the community as being a figurehead that can master and play these games with pretty quick efficiency. When I had you on the first time, I kind of asked how you did it, and you really explained it's just learning patterns and the feel and physics for the pinball. Have there been any sets or games otherwise that stuck out to you that give you that same kind of enjoyment? Maybe they're not even pinball, but just kind of provide that quick dopamine rush of like, hey, I unwound this pattern fast and now I get to experience it. Or, maybe it is pinball. Talk to me.
I mean, there's really not too many games outside of pinball that, like, give me that same kind of, like, requires focus, but also has, like, kind of like that zen feel. Like, once you're, like, kind of in the zone, it's, I don't know, it's a unique feeling.
Right, there's almost a flow state to it.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Peggle series?
I've heard of it, I've not tried it. I would like to look into it at some point, though.
I definitely think, as somebody who also enjoys pinball, definitely not to your level of expertise, but tries to have a good time either way, I think you could get a good jolt of enjoyment out of Peggle. You're familiar with pachinko, I imagine.
Oh yeah, I've done a couple pachinko sets that I couldn't stream.
Yeah, maybe. Don't know why. It couldn't be. No.
That's a mystery.
It's not titties. Anyway, so it's pachinko if you could control the ball just when you launch it. You kind of are setting up rebounds, you're setting up bank shots, and your ultimate goal in most games is to highlight all the pegs and eliminate them. If you haven't checked it out yet, and it sounds like you haven't, maybe give that a shot. I think the viewers could be entertained.
No.
I mean, so with pachinko, what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's mostly RNG, but there is a little bit of strategy to it. Like, you can affect, like, how hard you're hitting the ball. So, you can kind of aim it, but, it really does come down to, is it just going to bounce in the right way to go in the right slot?
Very fair. I'll admit, that was kind of a leading question because I wanted to tie it into your Fat Penguin Konami game from the start of the episode here. You might be saying, what the hell does it have to do with pachinko? But made by Konami, knowing that Castlevania hasn't received any goddamn love in who knows how many years, and yeah, you're damn right, this is a personal grudge of mine. Their last release being a pachinko machine. Thoughts on Konami in the industry? Thoughts on their abhorrent disrespect to their IPs? I'm pissed. Thoughts to having to experience Castlevania through pachinko?
I mean, I'll be honest, like, I don't really follow many AAA companies anymore. Like, it's just most of the games that they release, if any, are just not really for me. I'd say at this point, it's just like, if it's not like a FromSoft game, I'm probably just going to focus more on indie.
And I couldn't respect the sentiment more. It's more just being begrudgingly upset that juggernauts of the industry that used to be. He's like, Konami back in the fucking day made Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Like, that wasn't AAA. Yeah. Like, you used to have a good time with a good game and a good experience. Not to go off on my own platform here, but I've heard, allegedly, that a lot of the Konami industry internally has been taken over or somewhat co-opted by the literal Yakuza. Not the fun, like a pirate Yakuza, but the fucking Yakuza. And so they are trying to just pump out the biggest things that are for profit. And what's that usually going to be? Gambling. So we'll take the highest IP in our fucking region. I think they did it with Silent Hill too, and make it into a pachinko machine. I worry that we're going to see a devaluation of a lot of the IPs we used to grow up.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, you're devaluing the IP, but at the same time, you can't really change the past. Like, I'm still going to love all Konami's older games.
Yes.
That's not going to change.
Oh, God, no. You cannot tarnish that mirror. You are very right. And likewise, I don't think you can kill the spirit. Two things to bring up. One, Bloodstained. Iga got out there and said, fuck you. I'm still Iga. I know how to make a Castlevania game, even if it's not called Castlevania. And I'm going to make it well. So he did that. I'm sure you would agree that was a good execution. If you played it, I'm sorry to assume.
No, I did play it. I didn't like it like as much as the older Castlevania games, so it's still worth a playthrough.
It's worth a playthrough, but if you're the David standing against Goliath that is Symphony of the Night, I'm sorry, the sling just isn't going to work.
Yeah.
The second example I had on front was actually Kojima. Just recently, he started teasing Death Stranding 2, providing some trailers, providing some release footage, and he straight up said, I don't give a fuck. That is my character I created. I'm taking him back. Screw your IP. If it's infringement, take me to court. I'm doing it. And he introduced a character, I believe his technical name is Lance or Luke or something like that, but it is Lance, quotations, Snake, last name. And in his reveal trailer, he straight up commands some fucking operatives with hand signals and puts on a gray bandana. I kind of wanted to get your perspective on creators seizing their creation. Let's look at a couple examples. You got Iga doing it with Castlevania. You got Kojima doing it with Snake. And a bad example would be Infuane doing it with Mega Man into Mighty Number 9.
Ugh.
Yeah. What would be your kind of... Give me your ideas, give me your perspective, give me your introspection on what it means for a creator to treat the IP right, or how do they treat the IP right? Is it, the case of Mega Man, is it all up to the company to make it well? Because he failed with Mighty Number 9, but Iga, though it wasn't Symphony of the Night, did very well with Bloodstained. And now I have ultimate faith in Kojima to do a fantastic job with this new Snake. What are your ideas here?
I mean, I think it just comes to like a case-by-case basis. It's just like, yeah, let's say single person may have developed the character, but, you're also talking about a team that made the game. So a singular person's vision for a game might not end up being the same idea. I think a mixture of both, really.
I can definitely respect that. Though you came up with the idea of the character, maybe with some concept art, the writing team ultimately dictated their personality, and maybe the cinematography team dictated how they looked very awesome in their poses and their stances through the cutscene. There's a lot of factors that go into making a iconic character the character. You bring up a lot of good points with that. It gives me, honestly, a little bit of pause in the confidence I had with Kojima there. Either way, I hope it goes well. Kind of moving into our closing statements and wrapping up the episode. I had you on previously, Sark, and I'm fucking super thrilled to have you back again, man. Especially taking #1 spot. It's an achievement, whether you take it lackadaisical or not. But I kind of wanted to ask you, man, just general human thoughts, general feelings, general, what does it mean to be here? What are some of the statements you want to give to the listeners? What are the messages to take home as a community member of RA? What are the things to keep in mind that are important? And what should we not pay attention to as much? What is that little voice telling us in our head that we should tell shut the fuck up? And, otherwise just give me that perspective.
Oh man, I'm terrible with open-ended questions like this. I mean, really, I guess the best I can say is just, have fun with RA. Like, play it how you want, obviously, as long as it's within the rules. And, I don't know, just have fun with it. Find some people to have some friendly competition with. Don't take it too seriously. Like, at the end, like I said, at the end of the day, it's fake internet points, but, it's still, a long-term hobby for mine. I hope it goes for many more years. Just enjoy yourself.
It's a sentiment I've heard echoed from many of my guests, and the people I've had on, I think, are very respectable pillars of the community. I think they have great insight, likewise to yourself. And if that common sentiment is just try to have fun and enjoy yourself, that's really a message people need to be taking home.
Yeah. And I mean, also, I don't know if like I should be the one saying this, just have fun when, I'm also in like agony on some game request, but
But I would argue that is your form of fun. Like, it's not like you're here because you have a gun pointed at the back of your head doing that.
I mean, yeah, like I'll get pissed off in the moment, but I sleep it off and I'm fine.
Exactly.
I'm yelling at the person requesting it that day, and the next day I'm like, okay, whatever.
But I mean, you're yelling at them, sure, but you're yelling at them in the same way that I'd imagine you would give your friend shit for being like, hey, you fucking dickhead. Like, it's not that you are actually pissed. It's just, this is a different form of challenge that you're allowing on yourself, which results in a satisfaction. Am I wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, do I have a good time with every request? No. I mean, you can't expect me to enjoy every single one, but I try and give everything at least like a legitimate shot. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Like I said, I'm not going to hold grudges on people for giving me a game that I hate.
No, you're literally asking for it. You're not going to punish somebody for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Either way, Sark, man, you have a great attitude for this community. I think it's very, rewarding that you sit in the number one spot for now. Obviously, these things can change. You got people hunting your head. But for someone of your attitude, for someone of your approachability, you're still the everyman. Anybody can drop in your stream, chat, be right at home. Anybody can comment on your wall, and it's no big deal. Anybody can hit you up in Discord, and it doesn't freak anybody out. It's a very low stakes but high profile seat that you're sitting in, and I couldn't be happier to have somebody in there like yourself. So I wanted to thank you for coming on. This has been a fantastic conversation, man. These things could always go for another 2-3 hours, and God knows I would like them too, but holy shit, we got things to do. I just wanted to thank you.
Thanks for having me back on, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for being here. Any final statements, final couple of sentences or words you want to get out to the listeners before we send ourselves off?
Just keep on the RA grind. Enjoy yourself.
Keep on the fucking RA grind and enjoy yourselves, folks. All right, guys, that has been the Retro Achievements Podcast. Write in retroachievementspodcast@gmail.com for all listener mail. Got a chance to be read off on air. Otherwise, we will see you all next time. This has been Time Crush and Sarconious. Thanks for being here.